Okay, welcome to HN News. I'm Sasha, I'm your host. Thank you for everybody who's joined us. I see we have Dottie, I think I've seen Daddy Lolo, a few others in here, and we appreciate the fact that people hung in with us and decided to come back. We had a slight delay with our guest, but it's going to be worth your wait. We have the honor and pleasure of having Lele, the one and only ride or die god sister of R. Kelly. Please give her a warm welcome. Lele, we're so happy to have you here. We're excited about this interview with you. We have lots of questions from our viewers who have been emailing in, wanting to know questions with Lele. Knowing you were coming on, we have some questions prepared. So first of all, welcome.
Thank you.
We'll get right into the question and answers, and if there's anything that we ask that you feel you don't want to, just feel free to say no comment. Otherwise, we're just going to flow with the questions we have, and then we're going to give you a chance to share anything extra you would like to share. How's that sound?
That sounds fine.
Okay. All right, so we're going to get right into it. So you are the god sister of Robert Sylvester Kelly Sr., and can you tell us a little bit about your background with him and how you became his god sister, whatever you would like to share about having that up close and personal relationship with him? Feel free to let us know. What is your background in how did you become his god sister?
Okay, well, actually, excuse me. I knew him before I became his god sister. I actually went with a couple of friends to watch him play basketball. But lately, my mind had went on a vacation, and I did not realize that I actually had met him when I was 14, which would have made him 15. And they used to play ball at Shakespeare, basketball, that is. So I met him way before he became R. Kelly. My dad briefly, he used to go to meetings at the Prince Hall on 43rd and Cottage Grove. And I used to sneak from the Prince Hall because it was a meeting for men, not for me. And he would want me to sit in the car or just, walk Cottage Grove or the Strip or whatever. But because I knew a guy named Cato that lived out there, you guys have to excuse me. I'm just now getting over this sore throat. But there was a guy that lived out there that name was Cato. So I used to contact Cato and just let him know that I was out there, and he'd tell me where they were playing ball, and I would go over there and watch them play ball. And my god brother, who wasn't my god brother at the time, he was there, and he was shy. And also Miss Dee Dee, she too was there. Keith and a lot of the childhood friends was there. Of course, Bruce, his family was around and stuff like that. And that's pretty much it. The basketball is what actually made the connection of me knowing him, but not knowing him as my god brother at that time.
So it was basically was a friend in common that introduced you, the two of you together, right?
Correct.
Okay. All right. And then how did he become your god brother, and what does that mean?
He became my god brother because my mom went to a church service one night, and it was out south, and she came home, and she was very excited and just hysterical. And she kept screaming, "You'll never guess who my god brother, you'll never guess who my godson is. You'll never guess who my godson is." Now, I'm skipping ahead a little bit because at this particular time that she's saying, "I'll never guess who her godson is," he is now R. Kelly. So she comes home and she's screaming, saying that I'll never guess who her godson is. So I guessed a few times and I didn't guess correctly. So because she was so excited, I decided to let her go ahead and tell me who it was. And that's when she said, R. Kelly. That's how she pronounces his name. And she said, R. Kelly is my godson. It's like an echo. But Yeah, so she said that she was at Salem Baptist Church where Reverend James Meeks was the minister, and my brother Robert Sylvester Kelly Sr. was there rededicating his life to Christ, and he asked Reverend Meeks asked four young ladies out of the congregation that was there attending this service to stand up, and four ladies stood up, and each one of them were to tell about themselves. So the first two ladies told about themselves, got to the third lady, she told about herself, and then they got to the fourth lady, and the fourth lady was my mom. So she began to tell about herself, and she said her name was Teresa, and he said, "Stop. How you spell it?" And she said she spelled it Theresa. And he said, "I want her for my godmother." So that's how she became his godmother. And they went in the office, signed the paperwork, and there it is.
Oh, okay. So, in a godmother, their role is spiritual guidance in that person's life. Am I correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then, so how old was R. Kelly when she became his godmother? Do you know or have an idea about?
I I want to say maybe in his late 20s because it was after Mama Joe passed away. And I know Mama Joe passed away, I think like 93. So it would have been after that time. So he was born in 67, just do the calculation, maybe 26, 27.
Okay. So at that time, he must have had some spiritual intention to be at the church and then wanting to dedicate his life to Christ. So that's good to know. And so you became the God's sister then, and so it was a consecrated, uh, spiritual uh, time, and you became his God sister. When did he find out that you were his mom, his godmother's daughter, or when did you find out? When did you two connect regarding that? What took place?
Well, I don't remember exactly how it went, but we were talking about something, I don't remember. And I brought up the fact that he's my brother, and we laughed about it because he didn't care because he names people my brother, my cousin, and stuff like that. He does that, my uncle, my aunt, and sometimes it don't be those people, but he named them. So he had gave me the name Lele, and I was like, okay, because he never could pronounce my real name, so he just called me Lele. And I took that. And then one day we were in the studio, and I forgot what we were doing, but we were acting silly with the 12 play. And I said something about make me call my mom on you, or did you know my mom was your godmother, or something like that to that effect. I forgot. But he asked me who was my mom. And I said, didn't a lady stand up and say her name was Teresa and that she was your godmother? And he said, yeah, yeah, there was some ladies there. Yeah, yeah, there was a Teresa there that stood up. Well, what's up with that? I said, that's my mama. He was like, that's not your mama. I said, yes, it is. He was like, that's not your mama. That lady don't look like she had no daughter as old as you. I'm like, that is my mama.
Oh, okay. And one question I have about that is, so I understand that your mom has since passed, and you are still his god sister, and you have the paperwork that he was consecrated. Your mother was his godmother. You have the validation for that. Am I right?
Yes, we do. The church
Okay.
has it, and I actually, it's over there. Yeah, we have it.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to point that out, that paperwork is available. You have been validated as the official god sister. So, okay, so now we got that, and as to how you first met, you met him as Robert Sylvester Kelly, not R. Kelly, and you recently found out that it was when you were 14, not older. So that's
Not 16.
so you have known him for over 4 decades. Uh, okay, so throughout this trial, I know that you were not in the New York trial, or you didn't attend the New York trial, but you were in the Chicago trial, or you attended during the duration of the Chicago trial. Um, and, it appeared, I know that you were on WGN, you were on ABC, and it appeared that you had been, in the forefront of standing with R. Kelly through the whole Chicago trial process. Considering that there were, many people have feel that the system was working against him, what motivates your actions, and what motivates your actions in supporting him?
You mean what motivate my actions
Yeah, and
for
being
supporting
there.
him? Well,
Yeah.
well, I mean, the fact that, for one, he's my god brother as well as a friend. Okay. And I don't like seeing him or anyone else railroaded by not receiving proper justice. I mean, that's my motive.
Okay. And what do you think he'll be successful in finally getting justice eventually?
Do I think he'll be successful in getting
Yeah.
justice? Yes. Yes, I do. Because I am a believer of God. And my faith is knowing that my God is a knowing God. And seeing all of that and knowing who God is, okay, God's word doesn't return to him void. God is a God that does not lie. And I strongly believe that he is going to have my brother to receive the proper justice, and he will walk out of those doors. It's just in God's timing, and his timing will prevail.
Mm, okay. All right. And getting back to when this his legal troubles started, um, it's believed by many people that the Dreamhampton Surviving R. Kelly, that docuseries, played a pivotal role in triggering his indictment. What do you think about the role of the documentary in R. Kelly's legal woes?
Well, you said the pivot. You said that the surviving R. Kelly did.
Yeah, played it. A lot of people are under the belief that it played a pivotal role. It kind of, got things going. Are you in agreement with that? That that's what kind of triggered them to, start focusing on him, was the docu series that was created by Dreamhampton in the Lifetime.
I mean, looking back and knowing what I know, I mean, it appears that's what kicked this whole takedown of my brother, Robert Sylvester Kelly Sr. off. Is that I really don't and cannot go into details on as far as the Dreamhampton themselves or what have you, in their pivotal role and stuff like that, and what they did with the Surviving R. Kelly docuseries. I can't go into detail of that. I'm just saying, I just feel that they are, as I hear things, it's part of this takedown.
Were you aware that after the docu series aired, that the state's attorney in Illinois had stated that she was so bothered by it that she, wanted to further investigate and ask victims or alleged victims to come forward if they had something to state about any incidents or anything with your brother. Were you aware of that?
I do not understand your question. I'm sorry.
Um, were you aware of that after the docuseries aired, that the state's attorney had come out publicly and stated that she herself had viewed the docuseries and was so disturbed by the things that were being said that she was asking, were you aware that she had asked for alleged victims or accusers to come forward in regard to your brother, any kind of relationship or anything that they wanted to state, and created a phone line to call in? Were you aware that that happened?
Yes, I was aware that that happened, and that's why I say, looking back and knowing what I know now, it appears that all of that stuff that they did, the Dream Hamptons, the Kim Foxes, any and everybody that played a role in that, had a hand in that, I strongly feel that they are the ones that kicked this whole takedown of my brother off.
Okay. Okay. All right. I want to go just a little bit back, just knowing that you were around R. Kelly for, over 40 years, whether it was before he was R. Kelly or not. With that being said, it was 4 decades. I just want to talk a little bit more about the role you played in his life just before these legal troubles started. So you were around him as an adult. You were around him in Chicago. Uh, did you go on tour with him? Did you attend concerts? Were you uh, that kind of thing? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Was I on concerts with him?
Yeah,
Of
were you
course.
in concert with him? Did you travel with him or tour with him?
Yes, of course.
Okay, and you didn't work for R. Kelly.
No, I didn't.
Okay, so you were never on his payroll.
No, I wasn't.
Okay, and so as far as the business side of his affairs, were you ever involved in any of that?
His business affairs. I mean, if he needed an errand ran or his guest needed something and no one else was there to do it, I would do that for him. But that's mainly it.
Okay. Um, Now it's been said, around that he had different people who worked for him. And did you ever hear of the term handler?
Yes, I hear the term handler a whole lot.
Okay, and you were referred by people who don't know what was going on as a handler. Can you talk about that? Did you
I
ever handle
mean,
anything for him or?
I mean, with my brother, they want to make everything and anything sinister. So just to take out a word handler and try to ask me a question about it seems ludicrous to me. Handler is its word. I mean, it depends on what you handle. You can handle many things. And if someone asks you, did you handle something? You're labeled as a handler because you handled something. A handler is not anything that's something bad. So that's why I don't understand the stuff that I'm hearing when they put together handler and enablers and things of that nature. I don't get it. I don't understand it. I've been a handler all my life. I went to laundromats for my mom, handling her clothes. I paid her bills when I was young, handling her bills. I got in a taxi cab to pick up her cleaner clothes, handling something. So handler should not be used so freely, but in a sinister term when it comes to my brother. A handler is anybody that handles anything, pretty much.
Okay, and you were never asked to handle anything illegal.
No, not at all.
Okay, all right. Did you ever meet any of the accusers?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And where did you meet them and what year did you meet them?
Preferably around the end of 96, possibly 2017, but not a full introduction, not like Lele, this such such that Lele, not a formal introduction.
Okay. Okay. So that would have been Azrael Clary, Joycelyn Savage. Is that correct? You met them at some point?
Well, I'm not doing any name calling, but I was in the company of them before, yes.
Okay. Okay. And when you visited him, they they lived with him. So did you live with them or you just would visit and come and stay with them periodically?
I would come and stay periodically when I was in Chicago. If I didn't want to stay with my relatives or he had something going on, I would reach out to him and I would go and I would stay with him. And if he had guests around, then, I'd be around his guests.
Mhm. So his guests were living with them, and so they were considered his family. You were visiting his family home, and they were his family. Is that right?
Yes, pretty much. That's how it looked to me. It looks like they were a family.
Okay. Was he protective of them?
Very.
Okay. Did you have a relationship with them?
I sure did.
Okay,
I
so
was
you
I was aunt one time. I could be their sister. I could play their mother role. I mean, it depends on those young ladies as far as how we entwined in each other's lives.
Mhm.
And when I say that, I say it like if they wanted to go shopping and I wanted to go shopping, I'd go with them. If they just wanted to sit, excuse me, if they just want to sit and watch a movie, I sit and watch a movie with them.
Mhm.
So yeah, I entwined with them. Yeah, I were in their company.
Okay, did you come to care about them and care
Yeah,
care about them?
yes, I did. I still do.
Okay. Okay, so there was never no real conflict between you and those women while you were there, or anything to speak of other than just day-to-day kind of stuff. There was never You never had an issue and they never had an issue with you while you were there.
I mean, not that I know of, and not while I was there. All of this stuff came out later when my brother going through what he's going through. That kind of threw me back because I was in shock.
Okay. Okay. Uh Now you consider yourself a spiritual being, and you value your personal relationship with God. You make it evident. And
Yes.
did you ever share your spiritual side with either Azriel or Joycelyn?
And I don't know how important that is, but yes, I have.
Okay, all right. Um, did they Were they happy, healthy, based on the time you were there with them? What would you say about them?
I would definitely say they were happy. I would definitely say that they were healthy. Um, they worked out. I went with them a few times when they worked out at the Trump. They went shopping a lot. You know, they kind of like did stuff that they like. Like if one of them like doing her hair, she do her hair. If the other one just like pampering herself, that's what she did. But they were very healthy, and I mean, they looked nice. They didn't look
So they
anything like these people portraying them that they was not fed and things like that. No, I didn't see that.
Okay. So were they able to come and go as they wanted? I mean, could they go out and go shopping if they decided today I want to go to Macy's, or I want to go get my nails done? That was something that they could do freely. It wasn't, there were no bars, from nothing barred them from doing what they wanted to do, and they had money to do it. Am I correct?
Yeah, but I just want to say that with my brother being who he must have security himself all around the clock. So if they're going to go shopping or they just want to run to Walgreens right behind the Trump tires, or a little restaurant right there, they needed someone to actually walk with them, kind of like security for them so that nothing wouldn't happen because people in the world, you never know who knows who. And at this time, these young ladies were all over the news. So they needed someone to chaperone them to make sure that, they didn't get hurt or they didn't get bashed or anything like that. So sometimes I would be that person. I would walk with them or I would go to the store with them. I would go to a doctor's appointment with them, to get the teeth done. I would do those things with them.
Okay. Uh, did you ever speak to them about their family, their parents or siblings?
Yeah, because I'm a little nosy. I'm sorry, but I'm a little nosy, so I do ask questions, and I did. You know, I asked I asked them about their parents and stuff like that. Like where they were or whatever, and I really didn't get a direct answer on anything like that. It was like they shunned away from the question. But I do remember one time, I was cooking or whatever, and one of them compared the way that I styled a certain food the way that their mom styled theirs, so that was pretty much it as far as talking about their parents. One did one of them did talk about her parent, but what I'm hearing now on YouTube and in the news, with these indictments and these transcripts and things of that nature, what I'm hearing through that, the stuff that was told, it's like, I don't know if there's any truth to it, or I don't know if she was just, aiming towards this individual because she was mad at him, or what the case may be. But she did say something that raised an eyebrow with me. And as I hear these things going on, it kind of make me look back like, oh, okay, maybe that's what happened. But again, I can't believe it because I haven't heard this young lady come out and say anything about me, nor have I heard her mention what she told me. So, like I said, I don't know what she said, not necessarily saying it direct to me, but saying it in the company of myself, my brother, and another guest. I don't know if it's any truth to it. It could be,
Were
but
you
I just don't know.
were you ever around when Azrael had conversations with her parents?
Well, as I look back now, I realized that the person she was speaking to back like in July of 2000, I think 17, um, I realized that she was talking to her mom. But at that time, I was with her, and she was, she needed privacy to talk with her mom. So she sat in a bathroom and talked to her mom, and me and another guest, we walked out to give her privacy. But I later learned that it was her mom she was on the phone with, screaming and hollering at.
Mm, okay. Did you ever share any personal time one on one with either one of them, ladies?
Not one on one. We was pretty much like a family. I mean, our one on ones was the one on one on one on one on one when you're sitting in the living room or when we're going somewhere. Um, as far as one on one time, when you're on the sprinter, sometime one may get off with an assistant to go to the restroom or get something to eat or whatever, and I may be sitting on the sprinter with one of them or something like that.
Hmm. Okay. Uh, did you ever witness them? Were they going to get their hair and nails done regularly, or were they kind
Mm,
of settled in and not really caring for themselves while they were there?
to me, that's kind of irrelevant, to get your toes and your nails and all that done. But if you want to look at it from a standpoint of the fact that they didn't work, where the money was coming from them for them to do that, it came from my brother. He made sure that they were groomed and that they were pampered and well clothed.
Okay. Did either of them have a bank account that you're aware of? Their own
Uh,
money?
yeah, I knew that one of them had her own bank account and access to, you know, my brother's money as well.
Hmm. So they could, if they decided they wanted to go buy a new dress or pair of shoes, they could take the money and go buy it. They didn't need to say, "I want it. I want new shoes," or they could go out and go to the mall and have the money to do that.
Yes, they could go and shop and get whatever they want. And when they came back with it, I mean, if it was something that was suitable to an event that they were going to be going to, then fine. If not, you know, it may fit one of the other young ladies and they trade off.
Okay. Okay. Did Azrael have access to your brother's money to
Yes.
spend? Okay.
Yes. Not spend freely, yeah, to spend on um taking care of the household needs and things of that nature, bills.
Okay. All right. So after your brother got arrested, were you still in contact with them? Did you carry on a relationship, or were they in contact with you?
Yes.
Okay. And then when he went to jail, the ladies were still at the Trump Tower for a period of time through the end of the year or something like that. Who managed the finances at that time? Who took care of the rent and the utilities and grocery and those kind of things to keep things going while he was incarcerated?
The head young ladies that I know everyone is aware of, um, AC.
So Azriel Cleary was taking care of the finances. So he
Correct.
had a lot of trust in her. He had a lot of trust in her, evidently.
Too much, if you ask me.
Okay. So she handled those things after he was locked up. So would you say she was a handler too?
You might as well say she was taking care of business and handling things. That's a handler. So you
So it
tell
sounds like
me.
she was a handler too then. Okay.
Sound like she worked.
And did she ever reach out to you afterwards to, that she needed help or assistance with getting money or managing anything? Did she need your help with that after he was arrested?
Well, not my help as far as me giving her money, but she knew how to access his money while he was incarcerated. And she made it her business to reach out to me. And I hear echo. I don't know if it's me or you. She reached out she reached out to get money, and she stated to me that it was for bills, to pay bills in their cell phone bills and bills that needed to be paid at the Trump. And I'm right at this point, I'm not at the Trump, so I don't know what needs to be paid. I don't know what does need to be paid. I don't know if she's telling the truth about needing the money, wanting the money. I have no idea. But I do know that I reached out for her to get some money so that she can do these things. And that was unsuccessful because they had just been given money to take care of things. So to me, it was like, was she trying to entrap me to see was I going to get her some money, or was she trying to extort my brother and get more money while he wasn't around?
So at some point, she must have given up on, holding things down until he could get through this. So would you say, so were the contacts she had with you, were they phone calls or text messages or?
Both.
Okay. Okay. And you mentioned that you didn't know if she was maybe trying to pull you into something because of the things that have been said via social media or what has come back to you since this situation. So would you say in hindsight now, in regard to the communication and the conversations that you had with her after your brother got arrested, and because of the things that have been said on social media and made public in regard to AC and other people, would you say that they slandered and defamed you or spoke lies about you?
Oh yes, yes, most definitely. I've been defamed. I've pretty much been found guilty myself without even committing a crime.
Mm. Okay. Do you think that there was some manipulation on the part of her or her father or other people?
I think anybody that was involved in trying to take my brother down was involved in trying to take anybody around him that he loved or needed to be around him down.
Do you think it was because they were afraid you might speak out and your perspective of the events that took place would discredit them? Do you think that was to because of that, or was it an attempt to silence you or intimidate you or make you afraid to speak out?
I've gotten threatened phone calls. I've gotten threatened messages, when I pick up the telephone of them saying something about me speaking out and about, me being a lover of a person that they're trying to brand as a
Mm.
name that he isn't. So yeah, I've been threatened and none of that phases me. I just make a paper trail and I just let it stack up. That's all.
Okay. All right. So if it all of that behavior, if that was an attempt to silence you, um, obviously you've been out and about on social media and attempting to uh, put some facts out to the other side from the story to be told from another viewpoint, to the news. You were on WGN during his court trial. You were on, I think it was ABC News. You've spoken out on other platforms. So obviously, you're not silent. Are you prepared to be silent?
No, I'm not prepared to be silent, and I'm prepared to do more interviews, more speaking, as much as I need to humanize my brother, to show his real characteristics, excuse me, characteristics of who he really is, and not who social media or whoever started this, Dream Hampton, Kim Fox, whoever started it, to show them that he is not who they think he is.
Okay. If you had ever witnessed anything, or did you ever witness anything illegal in your brother's home in regard to um, Azriel Clary or Joycelyn Savage?
No,
Okay. And if you had, would you have spoken out or pulled your brother aside, or what would have been your reaction to that?
definitely would have pulled him to the side.
Okay. So you never witnessed any domestic violence,
No,
and you were there for months at a time?
true.
Okay. Did you ever hear any verbal abuse?
No.
Did Azriel Clary ever speak about being physically abused?
I mean, yeah, she spoke about it.
Did she ever talk about being emotionally abused?
Yes,
What about sexual abuse?
yes.
Did she speak about being molested?
I don't know where we're going with this, but yes,
Okay, who did she say molested her, if you can answer that?
I can. I can answer that, and I will answer that, but I'm going to answer it with defense to the person that she said, because of how she has been named to be on platforms and on um, news media, and also in the trial. You know, she came out and said a lot of derogatory things, not just about her parents, but about myself as well. And now at this time, with what she did come out by saying that her dad was the one who sexually molested her, and that is why she could not be at home at the age of 18 when he came home, she had to leave. She said that out of her words without
Wait a
us.
minute. Let me just interrupt you. Wait a minute. You're saying that Azriel Clary said that her father molested her.
Yes.
And where did that take place at? Or when did she say that?
She said that at the Trump Tower while we were sitting watching. It was movie night. Can't remember if we were watching 7 Seconds or Aquaman, but we were all sitting in the living room, and it was a family gathering. And I don't know what happened on either one of those shows that triggered her, but that is what she came out and said. And like I said, I'm not going to throw darts or stones at that man because of how she has been on platforms and also has lied under oath. So I can't say it to be true, but I can tell you that she said it to me.
Wow. Hmm. Okay. And who was there when that happened? It was your brother and you and
It
Joy,
was me,
or
my brother, and his other guest.
okay. And so you're saying that she said it then, and she said that was the reason she couldn't live at home with her parents.
She said she couldn't be in the house because she was under the age of 18. And it was because her dad had a history of sexual abuse or whatever. Whatever it was, she said she had the paperwork on it. I think she even searched to get the paperwork to validate it and show it to my brother. But again, I can't put that man out here like that to say that based on the stuff that she has been saying and based on her lying under oath. A person that lies on the oath, I can't tell if they're telling the truth or not.
I
I mean,
see.
the not part would be because they lied on the oath. So that would be not. I wouldn't be able to tell if they're telling the truth. Because lying on the oath that is a serious crime.
Yeah. Do you think that the conversation, well, what was your reaction to that when she said it? First of all, what was the reaction to yourself, or when she came out and said that that's why she couldn't be at home, and that's why she and that her father had abused and molested her? What was the reaction? I
I
mean,
felt that she was more I felt that she was more attention seeking then, because of her situation. I felt that, she wanted all the attention now, and she wanted that attention, and she wanted that feeling of having a a father figure there with her. And she began to act mature sometimes, and sometimes she'd go into the, excuse me, that's my medicine, you guys. So she said that she wanted to leave, and she said something about that emancipating or something like that, but she said somebody signed something for her to be able to leave her parents and this and that or whatever. But I later heard a story that was said that she was sent back after finding out her real age. She was sent back home, and then she came back. So whether she was 17, 18, or 19 at that time she was saying it, again, she lies. She lied on the oath. I don't know how old the young lady was at that time. I knew she couldn't be under 17, not when I met her, not when she was in his home.
okay, okay. Okay. Do you think that any of the conversations that you had with, because she had divulged and shared information and you were around them, that maybe some of the conversations that she had, she was fearful, that you might come out and speak about it, and so, maybe she was attempting to twist things and maybe cause problems for you because of how close you were and what you did know. Um,
Well, yeah, well, she definitely was trying to cause problems. But the thing was, to my knowledge, the young lady was 18. Okay. To my knowledge, she probably was even 19. So there was no such thing as 17 being around her, at least not myself, not my brother, not me, not at the age of 17. If so, I don't know. I don't know where that came from, because she definitely couldn't have been 17 being around us. And plus she had some things done, and you can't be 17 having those things done either. So there was no way she was 17 around my brother. Her leaving her mom's house, her saying that she had to leave her mom's house before her dad got home, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't say where she went to. What it
and her
says is that when she came to my brother, she was 18. That's what it's saying.
Okay, and when you're saying her dad wasn't around, her dad was coming home, they were
She said
separated,
her
or
dad was coming home. I think he was in prison or something. Not quote me, but that is something she stated. And right now, I don't want to dwell on the conversation of AC
okay,
because she's irrelevant at this time.
okay. Do you have any kind of ill will towards her or her family, or do you carry any kind of towards any of the accusers?
I don't have any will towards anybody. I would not be Christ-like if I had ill will towards anyone. Now, do I think some people have done wrong out here? Yeah, they will reap what they sow if they're sowing bad seeds. That's just the way I look at it. I'm going to love each and every one of you guys, no matter how much you hate me, no matter how much you defame me, you defaming me, throwing me under the bus, doing whatever it is that you do to me. You just have paperwork. I don't have to say things to people, and I'm not on here to talk about them, the bashers or blogger and stuff. That's not why I'm here.
Okay, we can move away from the accusers. Just one other thing. So, if you were called to swear under oath, the truth about this matter with AC or any of the accusers, you would have no problem doing that.
I would have no problem doing that. No.
Okay. All right. So let's move on from them because I know it's a sensitive issue, and I know you still feel a certain way about them and about what happened. So we're just going
Yeah.
to move from that. I know that you still care for them, and we don't want to dwell in that area there. So
Yeah,
let's move
it's
on.
not so much caring for them. It's just knowing that they have a problem. And it's not just these particular guests. It's all these women. They have a problem. And their problem is wanting to be with my brother and can't. That's the problem. Now we can go on to something else.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about in the New York courtroom. Outside there was a man that identified himself as R. Kelly's godson outside the New York courtroom, and he felt and wanted to state publicly that he blamed Sony for the attack on your brother. Who do you think is after your brother, and why?
I believe that anyone who owes him money for his musical genius talent and was threatened by him wanting his masters and royalties were and are after my brother. That's how I feel.
Okay. All right. Um, and Jennifer Bonjean, she in one of her latest submissions to the court, she stated that the prosecution did not prove that R. Kelly enticed or coerced any of the accusers to be with him. And indeed, their testimonies, and according to the trial transcript, none of them described R. Kelly using force to get them to be with him. What is your comment about those claims? Do you think he had to force anybody, or what is your opinion on that?
I find it like this. I say that they will find out the truth, which is that my brother, Robert Sylvester Kelly Sr., never had to force anyone to do anything. As you've heard, they're in the statements after testifying up there on the bench. They all ended by saying they still loved him. So that right there says a lot to me about what is really going on. It's the government.
Mm. Wow. Okay. So during the Chicago trial, during the cross examination, you were there, and several names, including that of his ex-wife and that of Stephanie Edwards, aka Sparkle, came up. These two were among R. Kelly, and they were two of the key accusers in the documentary. So, as his god sister, we believe you knew a thing or two about these women. Can you talk about their role in his current legal woe?
Well, first off, you guys wouldn't know, or I mean, you can believe that I know a thing or two about these women. That's your belief. But I will say his wife, Drea, was his wife. I mean, to me, she has never spoke untruthful things or should not have spoke untruthful things about her ex-husband because it tainted their 3 children. I know that they're old and they're able to make their own minds up and have a relationship with their dad. But when you have a mother that's constantly embedding in you all this evil that your dad has done to them, it's hard for a child to go away from their mother and see 2 sides of the story. That's the part that I don't get, and that's the part I'm not understanding. I don't understand why and or if they have said to their dad, mom says all this, but I didn't see it, and I want to have a relationship with you. I don't see his only son saying, Dad, you a man. I know men make mistakes. You have told me that before when I was young, and I feel that's what you did, if that's what you did. but I'm not going to let mama drag you through the dirt. They're old enough to say these things. Josh, she's old enough to say these things. None of them are spoon fed by their mom. I mean, they may be taken care of by their mom financially, some of them, but none of them have to abide by whatever their mother is saying against their dad. They have their own minds. They can go to that jail and see their dad, have a conversation with him, build a relationship with him. But I trust, believe in God, who reveals things to me all the time, that they will reunite again. They will be a family again. And unfortunately, Drea, she'll be on the outside looking in because she went about this the wrong way. She didn't have to come out with her relationship and her marriage. She didn't have to get on board with the younger ladies that were saying he did this and he did that, even if it sounded familiar. Her as a wife with 3 of his children should not have had no part in that. That should have been something she sought counseling for with her kids and herself. And even asking my brother if he would come to whatever sessions. But to come on public TV, national TV, social media, and confirm, validate what these accusers are saying, I think that's the hurt beyond the hurt for a wife, ex-wife, to ever go and do that to a husband. I just do. I mean, like I said, I just pray the kids hear me talking, have heard me talking, have heard their Uncle Bruce talking, and I'm going to keep talking. I just hope that they let this sink in and they get out of that shell and they just go and say, you know what, Mom, no more of this. I'm going to have a relationship with my daddy, whether you like it or not. If her response be, let him take care of you, then guess what? He will do that. Because if she can get any kind of money the way that she can and use it and say it's for the kids, why can't they just go straight to the source and get it for themselves? There's no third party, no third party hand in this. He has the relationship with his kids. Him and his kid begin to do things. They rebuild their relationship and they move on without their mother. And I'm not saying leave from your mother, don't have anything to do with your mother, but think about what your mother has done to your dad with these other accusers. There is no way. I don't care what my husband has done. There is no way that I am coming out in public. He could be the president. He could be the president. I don't care. I am not coming out in public saying anything that went on in my household, especially in my bedroom. I'm not coming out talking about those things. I may go get counseling, but I am not about to make it a world event to where myself and my kids are being looked at. I'll never do that. And you asked me about the other girl, Sparkle lady, being around or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, Sparkle, the whole thing is, oh my God. All I can say is about Sparkle. I don't call her Stephanie. I didn't know her name as Stephanie. But Sparkle, I don't care what nobody say. She was obsessed with my brother, Robert Sylvester Kelly Sr. And it is just my theory that because she couldn't be with him as his woman, she set him up with the introduction of his niece. She couldn't get in one way, so she decided to get in another way. And this is just my theory. This is no facts. It's just my theory. She could not get in with being with my brother, even after she had left her husband or her man, significant other, whatever you call it, and then seen that my brother was not going to be with her. That caused problems. It angered her. And she knew that he had the 2000 trial of the Aaliyah stuff and all of this and that. God rest your soul, Leah. But she knew about all of his cases. Sparkle knew all of that. She knew his profile. So what else to do but put somebody that I think he'll like in front of his face? Heck, I have a whole bunch of nieces and sisters and some aunties that would love to get at him. If I do an introduction, I'm not doing an introduction and this girl is 12 years old and say, this my brother Rob. No, that's not going to happen. My 12-year-old niece, she got talent. He hear her talent, but every time I'm going to be there if that's what I'm thinking. And you got to believe that's what Sparkle was thinking because he didn't want her. So she felt she'll put a younger person in front of him and he bite like she was going fishing or something.
Wow. Okay, so your take on Sparkle is that she was totally obsessed with him and has had a vengeance because she was scorned. She felt rejected, and so she brought in her niece to entice him into something.
Yeah, that's what I believe.
Okay.
I mean, I also believe drill was a part of that too. I just don't have any proof, but these are all my theories.
Okay.
There's no way I can be in my husband's home and not know if he's bringing other ladies in there and they're having sex.
Uh-huh.
I
Okay.
mean, it is what it is.
So, do you think that she did it also in, possibly could have come out and, wanted to, kind of discredit him and jump on board with the accusers so that people were not looking at her as playing a role in any kind of sexual activity? Or you think that that was part of it? It was she was trying to dodge a bullet?
Definitely dodging bullets. she's
That's
definitely
what I hear you
she's
say.
definitely dodging bullets.
Yeah, I also hear you speaking to her as you have children, Lele. So I hear you speaking to her as what you would, you know, that you've given some thought to how you would have handled a situation had your husband gotten into, some kind of a legal jam, and that you would have not put your children into making a choice over whether they supported their father or their mother. That you would have kept them out of the public eye and kept your business private. That's what I heard you
Correct.
say. So, yeah,
That
I
is what I'm
appreciate that.
saying.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Okay, so we'll move on from them. I think you gave a pretty good your opinion on what should happen with his children. Are grown and need to make their own decision, and we hope that that happens for all of them. I'm sure that that's what I had heard Bruce saying when we interviewed him as well. Is I'm sure that that's something that those children. It goes without saying that those children want those two parents to come together, at least for the sake of them, to have a uh, cordial dialogue, so that they can continue to love both of them and have a relationship with them. So I
I
heard
mean,
Bruce say this.
even if they don't come together, the kids are still grown.
Mm-hmm,
The
mm-hmm.
kids don't need the mother to say, "Oh, I'm taking you to daddy house today." Kids can get to daddy's house when they want to.
Right. Yeah, I agree. They're grown and they can do that on their own. I'm just saying that it would probably be the desire of them is for their mom to say, you know what, I was mistaken about that. I want you to have a relationship with them for whatever it is. They're old enough to decide on their own, and I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
Uh, and we'll probably see it in the near future. I'm sure, especially as he's freed and some of these charges are brought to the light and dismissed. So
Yeah.
um,
And I'm praying that very hard. I'm also praying on the simple fact of with I speak more on Drea because right now it's like she has control over the kids. Um I just speak mainly towards them. Your mom is going to always love you. And I'm saying this to them. Your mom is always going to love you. She's not going to ever turn her back on you. And if a mother turns their back on you because you wanted a relationship with your father, then you need to have that conversation with your mother for what it's really about, because no mother should turn their kids away from their fathers, and vice versa. Fathers shouldn't turn their kids away from their mothers. But right now we're speaking about Drea, we're speaking about Sparkle, and those two people I can speak on. Certain others I can't.
Okay. All right. So we have a lot of fans over here at HN that reach out through email or get in contact that they want to say their belief is, and their fans, supporters, people that sympathize with this legal battle that he's up against, and they feel as if the media was biased in reporting about the R. Kelly case. I know you yourself came out and spoke on a couple of on some platforms, but as well as like WGN and ABC. What are your comments about that? Do you feel as if the media was biased towards him in the reporting of all of the indictments, that kind of stuff before the court, and then during the court process? Do you feel as if they gave a fair, independent kind of journalistic view, or do you think it was leaned more towards the prosecution and the state's case than being fair and unbiased, just reporting? What is your take on the media?
I absolutely agree that they were biased because they were one-sided when reporting his case. I mean, ABC Chicago News interviewed me and still made a statement about my brother being a disgraced singer when I was clearly stating that he didn't receive a fair trial in New York. Okay. But the reporter was biased by labeling him a disgraced singer. But I was stating that I was hoping that he would get a fair trial in Chicago, even after what the man said. However, WGN News did allow me to point out the inconsistencies of the accused's testimonies and didn't appear biased while he was reporting. So you had some there that were biased to everything, and then you had some that were not biased. You had some that wanted to listen, because a lot that happened in the Chicago trial really shocked me. And it's because nobody could have ever told me that the government would use that much power to bring down one man. Nobody could have ever told me that. You had New York sentenced him 30 years because his career was 30 years. And then now we have, I call him Judge Sleepy, but Lyndon Weiber, I think his name is. You have him that's going to do the sentencing. And I just pray each and every day that sentencing doesn't take place. I pray that the New York trial be dropped. I know in my feeling, I know within my feeling and with my heart and soul that the state case is going to be dismissed, and it's going to be dismissed the proper way to where they can't bring it back against him. I strongly believe that, and I stand on my faith with that, because God is a God that does not lie. His word does not return to him void. He has not failed me yet. I am still here. I am still here speaking out on my brother. I am still here walking beside my brother as much as I can. As far as anything else, I'm here for it. I don't care if they drag me in the streets. I don't care if they say names about me. I don't care if they allege that I did certain things. All they're doing is putting themselves in paperwork. They'll come out after this interview and say something negative about this interview because I was on it and I said this and I said that, or some of the things that I didn't say. They'll come out with that. And I don't care, because I'm telling the truth. Nobody can tell my truth but me.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not sure if you've seen I'm pretty sure you did see the Bruce Kelly interview that we did with him. And in that conversation that we had with him, he suggested that your brother did not receive, that he did receive ineffective. His counsel in New York, was ineffective in defending him. And obviously Jennifer Bongine filing the motion for ineffective counsel she thinks the same thing, according to the
Mhm.
filings that she has. What's your opinion about whether he received effective or ineffective counsel in New York?
Well, I absolutely agree what Bruce was saying with that, because I made myself available. All right. Even with my health issues, I did that to the defense, to be a defense witness to my brother, Robert Sylvester Kelly Sr. I even emailed um, the attorney Canick, and thanks to the TBD for that, because she helped me and gave me the information to do that and get over what I had. I sent text messages to the attorney Becker, Greenberg, and even spoke to an attorney, Mike Leonard. I spoke with Greenberg as well as Doug Anton, but nobody contacted me back. And yet, my brother can go to New York and get found guilty of RICO sex trafficking and all this other stuff without anybody coming to his defense to say that these accusers are not being truthful. These accusers are lying under oath. I thought the government took the oath very seriously. I know I do. And with them allowing these people to say these things and the government knowing that they are lying, they still put it in there and they still bring it out to the jurors. Now you tell me if that's fair. They're trying him from his 2000 trial. They're not trying him for anything new. All of this is related to his 2008 trial. I don't care what anybody says. That is what it's relating to. Even with the new accusers, okay, new alleged accusers that have come forth and said that he did this, he did that. Would they have ever came forth if it wasn't a 1-800 number out there to come forth on? No, they were living their lives, didn't care about any of this, probably thought about them every now and then when a song came on or something of that nature, but they wasn't thinking about suing him. They wasn't thinking about getting restitution. They wasn't thinking about testifying against him. They wasn't thinking about sending him to jail. All they were thinking about is, one, can I get back with him? Or two, I've moved on. That's what you do in relationships. You move on, celebrity or not. When you're in a relationship, young ladies, that man no longer wants you, or he wants more than one of you, and you can't deal with it, you leave. And when you leave, you don't come back with stories later on to tell about that man. Because if it happened, you would tell it right then and there. No, there's no such thing as holding on to a t-shirt with semen on it so that it can be used later on. Sound like it's set up to me. Who's going to frame a t-shirt, put it in plastic, whatever they did with it, and save it? Sounds like a setup. So all I'm saying is there's no way that a bad relationship could have drawn to all of this. There's no way that a change in visitations could have turned out to be all of this. When you were in a relationship, you were loving him. So you said you were doing everything with him, everything for him. Well, not everything for him, but majority of the things you were doing. No, you wasn't cooking and cleaning and all of that because it wasn't asked of you. All he wanted to make sure you were safe and that you looked nice and you had everything that you wanted, because you came to him with the sob stories of not having this, not having that, not being used to this, not being used to that. Can't afford this, can't afford that. Ask me how I know. I've done it before. I've never done the sob story, but I have told significant others that I was with things that I couldn't afford. But if he wanted for me, he provided. And I got it. So when a relationship goes bad, you just go on about your business. You find someone else. I know that my dad used to always tell me, find somebody like your dad. Well, to me, that was kind of creepy. So I wasn't trying to find anybody like my dad. But I realized as I got older what he was saying. So I said all that to say this. My brother could have had defense witnesses if they were called, if they were reached out to, if they were given a chance to be there. The thought of people saying, oh, you wanted to be there, but you were in a RICO. You were in a RICO charge, a sex trafficking charge. Well, guess what? I am like my brother. Give me my day in court. Because that is a lie. I was not in a RICO charge. They put me in one, but I'm not part of one because my brother didn't have one. There's no sex trafficking because my brother didn't sex traffic anyone. If he was in a relationship with a young lady and he was touring, that's his job. Making music, that's his job. Traveling, that's his job. So if he has a young lady that lives in Chicago, but he's on tour, he's out of New York, now he's in LA, now he's in Miami, but she wants to come visit. And he said, okay, get a ticket out here, I got you. She get a ticket out there and she sees him. That makes it sex trafficking. That makes it a RICO. One thing about one of the young ladies he had, she was untouchable. So the stories that I'm hearing that she said happened to her, I find it very, very hard to believe. Very hard to believe. So again, I don't care about them saying my name. My name is not sitting in Metropolitan Correctional Correctional Center, MCC, 71 West Van Buren Street, Chicago, Illinois, 60605. Robert Sylvester Kelly on the end, 09627-035. We're not sitting there. He is. You know why? If you ask me, it's because of bad relationships. Has nothing to do with anything else. And greed. Bad relationships and greed. Scorn and greed. Deceived and greed. That's all I see it as. But anyway, enough of that. I did try to reach out to be on the defense.
Okay, one question just in regard to what you had said. You said you're not in an indictment, so you were not indicted. You were not charged with any crime as it relates to the RICO. You were implicated in some transcripts. Is that right?
That's what I was told.
Okay. So, but you have never received any kind of charge. The government never charged you with any crime.
Right.
Okay. Okay, so let's talk about the credibility of the witnesses during the two trials, and considering that some of the government witnesses, in particular, there were three in particular that had talked about being underage, and some of them confessed during the court hearing that they had lied to Robert about their age in order to be with them. What do you think about their credibility? And would you want to say anything in regards to those witnesses that lied about their age?
I mean, which ones are we talking about? You said what? I mean, what are you
I'm
saying?
I'm talking about there were three that we know of that spoke about their age. One was Lisa Van Allen. She said she was 17 when she met him and got in a relationship with him. There was Geronda Pace, who said she was 15 or something like that. And then there was Azriel Clary, who said she was 18, but then later said she was 17. It's my understanding that she was sent home when she was when it was when he was made aware of the fact that she was 17. So those three in particular, some of the viewers over here have asked questions about to see if you could speak on Lisa, Geronda, or Azriel in regards to them lying about their age to your brother when they met him.
Okay, well, here we go. Well, while I was at the court, the Chicago trial I'm talking about, it was a known fact that Lisa Van Allen, accuser rather, lied about being 17. We know that, right? When she actually was 18. And it made the government not be able to use her as accuser, but use her as a lying witness. It was so crazy and so much to as heck, a U.S. Marshal had to go bring her back to court. Now, Geronda back 2008 case, she fooled the court. She fooled the court. She got inside there and watched child pornography by lying, saying that she was 18. She admitted that she had a fake ID saying she was 18. I'm sorry, did I lose y'all?
No, we
saying
can
that
hear
she
you.
was okay, my bad. Saying that she was 18 with a fake ID. So if she can fool the courts now y'all keep this real, seriously. If she can fool the courts, how come the courts can't see that she fooled my brother too? Heck, look at AC. She showed a fake ID. She showed a fake ID to the officers at the hotel. Okay? Clearly showed that she lied because she wasn't 18, but the ID said she was 18. So if the police officer accepted the fake ID, then why would my brother not believe an officer of the law that she was old enough after them checking her ID? Why wouldn't he believe it? You want to say he knew these girls was underage? If they have ID that is saying they are of age, he is going to believe that. He don't work at the DMV. He don't work at DPS to scan their doggone IDs and make sure that it's not fake. That's not his job. That's not what he does. So if this girl told him she was 18, then he believed it. Oh, well. They're in a relationship. Act like you haven't done it before. You told somebody you was a certain age. I know I did. Told somebody you was a certain age, but you wasn't. Got in a relationship with them. Feelings started to play a part. Feelings was so heavy. Now you're getting to a more serious part in your relationship. Now you say, baby, you know what? It's something I didn't tell you. I'm not 21. He done bought a wedding ring and everything, getting ready to propose to you. But you hit him with this. I'm really 14. What? What? Okay, well, look, this is what we're going to do. Because, man, we done did what we did, and feelings done played a part, and we here now. So, anybody asks you, don't even tell them your age. Don't even worry about it. I love you. You love me, right? Okay, well, we going to be together. There ain't nobody business how old you are but man. And we just we gonna make this work. It happens. It happens. But the thing of the matter is with my brother, he's a celebrity. So of course these people coming with IDs saying they're this age. 18 is legal. 17 is legal in some states. So when they're coming with these IDs, and these IDs are saying that their age is their age, and a police officer, a security officer, even government officials have checked it, and it says you're 18, you're of age. I'm sorry, I don't know if I can say this on here, but you're of age to get your boots knocked. You are. But once you and him end your relationship, now you're no longer 18. Now you 17. Now you 13. Now you 12. Now you want to be an age that can get him in trouble. But you loved him. Because that's what you said at the end of your testimony. Every time. Every last one of them. Not one, not two, but every last one of them at the end of their testimony said, but I still love him. You don't do this to nobody you love. Relationships ride out. They there for a season and a reason. Your season may have been up. You may have came in winter. It's the summertime now. You gotta go. I mean, it is what it is. It does not take making false reports, going to people, fabricating stories, getting on the bandwagon with other people that's fabricating stories, and then making a case against him. That's the sad part about it. The government actually believed these people. That's the sad part. And it burns me up. So yes, I am fighting for my brother. I am going to continue to fight for him because, for one, he did not do all of these things that they're saying that he did. And when I say that because I was not there holding the light. I don't know what he did in his bedroom, but I know it wasn't abuse, because that person would have been gone or they would have filed papers. Okay, people say abuse people, abuse people. Say what you want to say. If two abused people are together because they got abused, sometimes they can come together to enlighten abuse. Sometimes they live in this abusive relationship and realize I no longer need to abuse you. It's not doing anything. You're still here with me. So why do it? You love me. I love you. We're going to get us some help. That's it. That's all. But that's not what happened. What happened was, I'm going to be with her. I'm going to be with her. I'm going to be with her. She take care of me, so I'm going to keep her. Can y'all get along? Yeah, we can get along. We can get along. Yeah. But they fighting. They fighting to get one place in his life, and that's to be number one. So they like crabs. They pulling each other down. Every time one get up to the top, they pull them down. That's what they do. But that one that thinks she's the one gonna stick around, she gonna make sure all the rest of them don't. In this case, two of them tried to stick around. One let her mind and emotions get so involved that she just came out with so many lies. It was pathetic. But she was loving him hard. She went hard for him on the media, showing the media that he's her man. She's going to do all this when he get home. And what does she do? She jump on the bandwagon with the others. Because they saying it ain't man. His wife said it. So who are we not to say it? And that's what they did.
I think at some point she started to believe that he was not coming out, and so there was an incentive for her to go, to get with the others and go along with what was being said about him, possibly for monetary gain if they were told that that his royalties was going to be divided up amongst the accusers, if that was, what she had to resort to because she didn't know what else to do. I don't know. But one of the things I wanted to bring up that you had mentioned about, there were court officials who verified, back to the question that we were talking about, there was court officials that verified Geronda's age to get into the courtroom, yet they expected your brother to know that she was not of age, but she attended a court hearing where there was alleged child pornography. And so that one, that was that. The Lisa Van Allen was on a movie set and had to travel there. So she would have had to be 18 to travel. And when the government found out, instead of her being an accuser, she became a witness. And so, and then in the case of Azriel Clary, her mother traveled her around, or it was said that she, played the role that, allegedly she played the role in text messaging to say that she was old enough, until Azriel herself divulged the fact that she wasn't old enough. So with these three witnesses that we're talking about, in New York, they could have called in. So here, what Bruce is saying comes to mind again, that they could have called in the person that was transporting her to be on the Home Alone set, to say that they had paperwork saying that she was 18 during that time. And when the defense found this out, they could have called in that person to say that no, she was not 17, as she said. She was 18 because she appeared on there. She traveled as an 18-year-old to be on the Home Alone set. Deronda, they could have called in the court officials that, verified that she was, showed them something to get in that day. And, whether they would remember her in particular, they could have called in somebody to say what the process and the procedure is to go through security. Even at that time, they could have called in someone to state what is their process for having someone come into a case such as this where there would be alleged child pornography shown. So there could have been witnesses there to say what their process was. And then as far as Azriel Clary, she traveled beforehand, and there was a police report, or should have been a police report, that showed that they showed up at that Dolphin Hotel, I think the name of it was. Where was that police officer when they went to trial that said that she came in and falsified that to the police? And again, the defense could have shown that he would, a normal person just using common sense would say that if somebody showed a police officer and a police officer verified the ID that they looked at to say the person was old enough, he would have no reason to believe she wasn't. He would have no reason to believe that she was lying when any of them were lying when it was verified. As well as something else came to mind was the wellness check that was done by, I don't know if it was the parents that were calling when they were at the Trump Tower. Those police officers came to the Trump Tower. I think there was 2 or 3 of them that was said they were called to the Trump Tower for wellness checks to make sure that they were safe, sound, and healthy. Those police officers. So it wasn't as if there weren't official people who had the opportunity to see that they were okay, not cleaned up. None of these people were called in New York in his defense. Where are those? These are official government people. Where are those people? And why did it's a question I have. Why were they not? These are officials. These are government officials who came and checked and said everything was okay. This person passed through court. This person was on a movie set and was traveling to get there. Where are these people, and why didn't the defense call them? I think Bruce is right. Ineffective assistance of counsel.
Definitely ineffective assistance of counsel because of that main fact. You had witnesses that was there, that was willing to come there to debunk or clear up what the defense, the prosecutors, the governor, what their witnesses were saying. They had already went on the oath. I would have went on the oath to say, I only can speak about AC, HC, and JP if she's married or whatever. I can speak on those 3 ladies because those are 3 ladies I heard took the stand. I'm not sure whoever else took the stand. But I do know that he didn't, and say he really didn't want me to take the stand because he thought I was going to be biased. But no, I was just going to tell the truth. I was going to tell the truth. That was it. That was all.
One other thing
I tell everybody all the time, I don't side with nobody. I side with God. And when I go in chats and stuff like that, I go in there to be cordial because I know my brother has family, as he say, family out here that he really love, and they are subscribed to people channels. So I go inside the channels and I show love. And I do that because not just those girls showed the demon side of them. YouTube is doing the same thing, and I think it's crazy. I think it should stop. But I'm not a peacemaker in between that. They blog how they blog. We're gonna have one commentator on the YouTube street that commentates very well, and I always say she's the best commentator, and that's Our Level News. She does. She get on, she get off. And I love that about her. Now there's a duo. It's her and Daddy Lolo. They do the same thing. They come, they report, and they get off. And I think that's how it should be. I probably will watch more instead of watching people argue with one another. But that's a whole different interview. Go to the next question about Bunjean. You were saying something about Bunjean?
Well, speaking of the interviews, I also came to mind when you were speaking before that Asriel Clary spoke on two different interviews with Gail King, and not to go into the Gail King too much, but my question about that, or what comes to mind, is on the first one, she appeared much differently. Obviously, she was happy in the relationship. Uh, let her tell it in the second interview. She said that, that he was behind the scenes, telling her what to say, and that she was coming back to divulge that truth. But something came to mind when I heard that second interview that she did. She, at the time when she gave the first interview, she was still living with him. He wasn't locked up. He may have had the first charges, but he was not indicted in the federal case. And she, at that time, she was for him. And the second time she came on, she came back to say that she was, coming back to say that what she reported the first time, she wasn't being truthful. What do you think? What do you think about her coming back? And I just want to say she was in the New York. She was an alleged uh, accuser in the New York case to begin with. She was listed in there while she was living with him. And then after she was arrested, so she said that she was pretty much, that was rehearsed conversation that she gave in the first interview. In the second interview, she was coming back to clear things up. But while he was arrested and he was in the Chicago MCC, she was on his visiting list going to visit him. And if he had been coercing her or rehearsing with her, I just believe that somehow the government would have not let her visit him at the MCC if they really felt that she was being coerced, uh, intimidated. She was willfully coming there after he was locked up. She could have gotten the first train out, and she was coming to visit him. And there was no role playing. I wouldn't believe he was coercing her and, going over, they have ways to see what's going on. And if she was a witness in the case, do you think that that was part of I know that was a long question, but I had to, do you think that that was part of the setup, is having her come to the MCC when she was in a federal indictment?
Okay, yes, that was a long question. And who are we speaking in terms of?
This was Asriel. She gave two interviews to Gail
Okay.
King, and she came back the
Okay.
second.
Well, the first time she made an interview with Gail King, I was there. Okay. And now the second time I was not there. The first time she made it, she had me in tears. I mean, had my brother in tears when they came back. Him and Bug went over across the street to Dunkin' Donuts. And I sat in there with the ponytail guy while they did their interview. And they asked him, did they want water and stuff like that? So he was going in and out of the refrigerator, the ponytail guy, to get water if they needed it. But she did that interview and she came out, I was in tears because of the stuff she was saying that her father forced her to do, and that she didn't want to do music and she would run away and all this other kind of stuff. That hurt me so bad. So when she came out, I just gave her a big hug because I was in tears to hear what she had said. And we got outside the door and we were in the hallway, and that's when we seen Uncle Bug and my brother coming from coffee or whatever. And he asked her how she did and stuff like that. And I was crying. He was like, oh God, what happened to Big Crybaby? Because I cry a lot. And that pretty was it. She was like, I guess she felt okay with the interview. Me personally, if you asked me and you didn't, I don't think the interview should have been done. That's my thought. Everybody else can say what they want to say. I don't think my brother should have did an interview, especially with someone that knew someone and were after him. I don't think that interview should have been done, especially with that person in that way. As far as the ladies interview and things of that nature, I don't care what nobody say. At that interview, that first interview, they were telling the truth. I don't care what nobody say. I have discernment, and I felt what those young ladies were saying in that interview. They were telling the truth about their lives and what was going on. I do not see that as coerced because I was there the whole time. When did they coerce? I don't get it. So they didn't even role play and say, okay, well, I'm the this and that, and you be this and that. No, no. So I don't know when that took place as far as where they said that they were coerced. And I seen an interview where somebody said where she said he was so happy that they had did the interview and things of that nature. No, the ponytail man felt it was a good idea for them to do it. And of course, my brother was going along with the ponytail man because he thought at that time he had his best interest at hand. But as you see later, things come out that was a bad choice. And when he asked me, and he did ask me, what do I think about him? I said, it's something about him I don't like. I didn't know what type of spirit he was possessing at that time, but it was just something about him I didn't like. I said it to my brother and I said it to Uncle Bug. It was something about him I didn't like. Greenberg would come up and he would have his coffee and cookies and stuff because I would serve him. You know, I liked doing stuff like that. I mean, my brother was a celebrity, but I didn't look at him as a celebrity, but he was. So when people came over, I became professional. But the thing with that, it's just crazy. I mean, me personally, I just hope that they'll find out the truth, which is that my brother Robert Sylvester Kelly never he never did these things. He didn't rape anybody. He didn't hold anybody hostage. He didn't do none of that kind of stuff. And they still want to sit out here, keep going around, keep charging him with this type of stuff. And it's just crazy to me. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, I'm just saying he never forced anybody. That's the whole thing. He never forced anybody. And as you've heard, again, their ending statements is what? I still love him. They still love him. So I think they only, I'm not even going to think on this part. I'm going to say on this part. They did this for attention and for money. Somewhere along the line, they told him, you're going to get money out of this. Oops, I done clicked somewhere again. You're going to get money out of this. Somewhere along the line, they told them that. And when they told them that, the stories got bigger. And lying on the oath, they didn't care anymore. There's like, there's money involved. Government not going to lock me up because I'm helping them get him. That is how they're thinking. But they're not thinking beyond their thoughts. When all of that stopped, what is your conscience telling you? You know that conscience where you talk to God? What is it telling you? You did the right thing? No. I doubt if God is saying that to any of them. If anything, God is probably telling them, make it right. You've already perjured yourself and lying on the oath. If you're going to go to jail for anything, even though they gave you immunity, and you want to be clear and free of all of this, go and tell the truth. Whatever come behind that truth, whether it's jail time, probation, take away your Section 8 for life, whatever the government promised you, you tell the truth. You'll feel more free. Money come, money go. If you get this money, this restitution or these whatever from him, intellectual properties, what is it going to mean? Nothing. Because when you look at yourself in the mirror, you know what you did. Then if you have kids, you have to face them because they're hearing it all over here, just like my kids do. What are you going to say to them? It says train up a child as the way they should go. And we have to do that. That's why I always say it start at home. But I'm not going to get to preaching. I'm just saying those young ladies need to come out and tell the truth. I was in a relationship with him. I loved him. I still loved him. He didn't do these things to me. I said that because Annie said that. Annie said that because Tisa told her that. Come out and tell the truth. The truth will set you free, no matter what. Seriously, it will set you free. And you will be at ease with yourself. You'll be able to live lightly. You will no longer be heavy, loaded with baggage because you came out and told the truth. And y'all doing all of this for one man. One man. One man. There's nobody else in that jail cell but him. Those other people that got indicted and all that kind of stuff has nothing to do with him. Nothing. He don't know those people. All these people associate themselves with him. He don't know those people. He's fighting for his life. They found him guilty before innocent when he walked into New York. Right now, all I am praying on is that God sees all, knows all, hears all, and do accordingly. That's all I'm praying.
Okay, I just got a couple more questions from that was sent in. One of them was that this person states the government presented flight and hotel bookings as evidenced against R. Kelly. The audience over here at HN thinks this was not sufficient evidence to arrive at the New York conviction. What is your opinion about this, about hotel bookings and flights?
Well, first off, we already know about the hotel bookings and flights. Okay, you already know that you have to produce the right age, right ID for hotel bookings to even fly. So with me, my whole thing to this, and I'm trying to find it because I had wrote me a little note on the side of it about them about traveling with no ID, because I know my son, when he traveled, you can't travel without no ID. You have to have a parent along with you if you're too little or you're too young or whatever. I'm trying to find it here. Okay, you said they was flying them out. Get that part. I should have numbered my paper. Okay. Okay, I don't know if I got something mixed up or I don't know where that question came from, but either way, repeat that question.
Okay, the government stated in their case in New York, they presented flight and hotel booking verification. And the audience at HN believes that this is not sufficient evidence to get the New York conviction. What is your opinion about this? That they used hotel bookings and airfare to say that he was sex trafficking.
Well, I thought we already went over that because that was with Lisa Van Allen, right?
Well, I guess this is more to do with, the sex trafficking, that that he was traveling. Was that the purpose of his travel? Or,
No.
he was there for
we already came across that. He was at work. His work required him to travel from state to state, city to city, country to country. But if he had a girlfriend or girlfriends and they want to come where he is, of course they're of age and they go where he is. If they have fake IDs, that's not on him. That's only people that let them pass the TSA.
Okay, so just to be clear, you're saying that he was working and that's why they traveled to see him. The purpose of his trip was not to go meet them in another city so he could have sex with them. The purpose of his trip was because he was traveling. They came to join him there. And in your opinion, that is not sex trafficking, that he was working and they came to see him at work. Is that right?
That's pretty much that's how it looks to me. That, hey, if I'm on a job and I'm away, you got some nurses that travel and their husband, he get a little time off. He travel where she's at. She's at work. All these girls was of age that traveled to see him. The ones that snuck by them that was not of age, that's not on my brother. That is on them and whoever let them pass. I know back in the day you had to be escorted to put a little thing around your neck to show that you're not supposed to be traveling by yourself. So I don't know where they lies come in at. They just don't fit what they saying.
Okay. All right. And one final question, and then if you want to add anything, you're welcome to do that. What would you like to see the government and the court do next, considering you're not satisfied with the guilty verdicts nor the 30-year sentence?
I think I answered that too already. I think I answered that where I want the government to come clean, do the right thing, and acknowledge that they set out to get my brother, Robert Sylvester Kelly Sr., by any means necessary. Correct their wrong and free my brother from all of the charade and embarrassment. That's what I want them to do. I want them to come clean so they can sleep at night too. Because I know right now they tossing and turning. And their husband wondering why they going getting warm milk through the middle of the night and all this and that, or staying on, I ain't gonna say that part, but staying in the bathroom and everything. I know they wondering that. If they want a peaceful sleep, do the right thing. Do the right thing. Tell y'all officials that y'all set this man up. And if you don't want to say set the man up, just say we pulled a whammy on him. We railroaded him. Whatever word you use, tell the truth because you know you did it. Okay. And I'm surprised that a lot more people not involved in this, knowing how they have treated him. And not just him, knowing how they may treat anybody that may come along. It may be your brother, my son, my husband, my other son, my daughter, for God's sake. It may be my niece. Coming up, it may be my grandsons. And I'm going to touch, because you asked me that word earlier, with the daddy thing. Daddy is, to me, daddy is a figure of speech. Because my brother is my daddy. He is my brother. He is my cousin. He is my nephew. He's everything that a male can be to me. And it don't make it sinister. Yeah, people won't say, oh, she can say that because she was named in the indictment. So what? I was named in the indictment. I didn't do anything wrong or illegal. So understand that about my brother. He didn't do anything wrong or illegal. And whatever they felt he did illegal, his soul won with that. And it's over now.
Okay, I just want to say something that I know that some of the subscribers had questioned and may not be aware of the fact that you were, and it may be for latecomers who have come in, that you did make yourself available. You contacted every attorney that represented him from the get-go, from the New York attorneys, the Chicago attorneys, that you have been in contact and had offered to testify on his behalf, to state what you knew, and you were never contacted. So for people who came in late and are wondering why she has not spoken out, she had requested to speak out and did not, and they did not contact her. So if that was part of the ineffective assistance of counsel or what that was, but Lele, the whole time, from my understanding, has requested to speak out on his behalf and to share her knowledge and defend her brother for what she had witnessed herself. So the question about her not, why did she not speak out till now? She has spoken out. She has reserved things for the attorneys to bring out in court, and she wasn't given that opportunity. And that is one of the things I want to make very clear here, is that she did attempt to speak out. So, and with that being said, Lele, if you have anything else that you want to personally share, or I know you have a channel, we can put it in the comments. Someone can put it in here. You started a channel for your brother. And so if you want to talk about that and anything else that you want to add to this before we wrap things up.
Um, I basically want to say that to those that are listening, and it's a small world, everyone knows someone. I just want to say to the listeners right now, think of this as your relative. Think of the government doing this to your relative. What would you do? They say they got all this stuff on you, about you, that will lock you up or make you incriminate him. Would you still be silent? I'm not. When I say I'm my brother's one and only ride or die sister for life, I say that with meaning because I am. I don't fear prison, law enforcement. I don't. Like I said, I have my own paperwork on those that have defamed me, that have threatened me, and that have accused me of being a network terrorist. I do want to say to everyone, bloggers, you, Miss Sasha, HN News, I want to say to you all, as my brother would say, he would say, don't look at the person that's bringing you the news about that person. Look at the person that is actually bringing the news. But when he come home, I'm going to switch it around and let him know that it depends who's bringing that news. I want you guys to take time out. And I'm speaking to the accusers because I know you're listening and whomever else is listening. I want you to take time out for yourself. Think about things that you have done in life that you possibly have gotten away with, but still hinder you some kind of way. And it give you the shakes or it make you think. I want you to think about that. Those that have already done what you done to my brother, I want you to fall prostrate. I want you to get on your knees. I want you to lay your hands beside your knees with your head bent in between your legs while you are laying. And I want you to repent and ask God of forgiveness for what you have done to Robert Sylvester Kelly Sr. Ask him for forgiveness of what you think Robert Sylvester Kelly Sr. has done to you. Ask to be forgiven. Ask to forgive others. Stop making everything personal. Life is too short. People are dying every day. Do you want to die with something so heavy on your soul? Release it. Let it go. Give it to God. I promise you, you won't steer wrong. I'll be speaking here at my church, Waco Church of the Living God, 1618 Waco, Texas, this coming Sunday, November 20th. And I've been struggling with what I'm going to speak on. And I'm still struggling. But I think I am going to speak on kill, steal, and destroy. Because that is what's going on. I was so happy that my brother were able to be nominated. His song, Rent Money, was nominated for a Grammy while he going through the mist. But God said, where there are two are touching or three in agreement, he will be in the midst. And I know there's more than 2 and 3 that are touching for my brother. If you love my brother the way that you say you do, continue to pray for him. Continue to email or write him encouraging information. encouraging words, magazines with cigars, sports, gym shoes, eating, anything. But I don't believe he's going to be in there soon. And I don't know how many I have in here, but however many it is, I ask that all of you guys right now, if you are a strong, strong supporter of my brother, you are his family, as he say, I want you to touch an agreement right now. And I'll know that you're touching an agreement because I'm going to feel it. I want you to touch an agreement right now with red, black, and white hearts and praying hands. And I want you to lift your hands to God. And I want you to say, Lord, whatever I have done, I ask that you forgive me. Lord, I ask that you forgive those people that have done and came up against Robert Sylvester Kelly Sr., Lord. Lord, a man that was after his own. Lord, I just ask that you be with those persons that are not thinking right, Lord Jesus. I ask that you heal their mind, body, and souls, Lord. Lord, these alleged accusers, I ask that you restore their mind. Restore their mindsets to let them know that this is not of them. They can have more than what they bargained for. God says he'll open up a window and pour you out a blessing more than you can hold. And he will. But you got to believe. You have to trust in God, our Father Almighty. And in saying those things, you have accepted him. You have asked him to renew your mind and your heart. I always say Proverbs 3:5-6 is my favorite because it says, lean not into your own understanding, but into his, and in all ways he will direct your path. It's not about us. It's about Robert Sylvester Kelly Sr., who sits in a temporary dwelling at Metropolitan Correctional Center on Van Buren Street. He needs to be home. The holidays are about to come again, and he's still where he is. There is a higher power, which is God. So we just pray that God open those gates, break those chains, and allow him to come home. We want to thank God for allowing Attorney Bunjean to be in the position that she's in. Thanking her for understanding his situation and saying, I will represent you. So now we just ask that you go inside of that jail cell, each and every one of your minds, and you put your loving arms around him, and you let him know that he will see that light at the end of the tunnel. Nothing is going to stop him from what God has for him. One thing's for certain, two things for sure. He's not going to come home to us no sooner or later than what God has ordained. So we just pray for God ordination to be a just God. We ask that it be no more. December 13th, we ask that it all be over. No more sentencing. No more appeals. Just over. A second chance to re-enter into society and build his relationship with his family, his children, and his siblings. And I ask those things. And I ask that you do those things. In your Son, Jesus Christ, I have said this. Amen. I want to thank you, Sasha, HEN News, for allowing me to come on here. I didn't know exactly how it was going to go. I was a little nervous because I am not an interview person. I'm not a person that take pictures, but I appreciate you all. I love you all. There's nothing you do about it. If you have any questions for me, you may go ahead and ask them. I am a woman that tells the truth, whether it hurts me or not, because I'm not ashamed of what I've done. I'll be ashamed of what I do. So in order to not do it, I need to know it and block myself from it. So those people that speak about me, I put on the full armor of God every morning. Your fiery darts, they can't touch me. Because I still love you, no matter what. But you be blessed. And that's all Lele has to say.
Lele, I want to thank you so much for that beautiful prayer. And you are a prayer warrior. We are touching in agreement with you. And I know that the chat was as well. I actually got a chance to look at what the comments that were in there. So I just want to say that we love you over here. We appreciate you, and we touch and agree with you.
Amen.
And you're welcome here anytime. I
Thank you.
want you to go back and look at the comments that were in the chat because your brother has a lot of support, and so do you. And thank you so much.
I don't know how to do that. Unfortunately, I don't know how to do that, but I do want to know how to go live. I tried, but I do want to know how to go live because I have so much to share.
Tell the chat where to find your channel.
You can find me and follow me at YDK with Lele on YouTube and also YDK with Lele on Twitter. It's my real name on Facebook, Alicia Evans. I just have and post a lot of things about my brother, Robert Sylvester Kelly Sr. I don't know how to work Instagram, whatever y'all call that thing. I don't know how to work yet, but I would love for you to follow me on YDK with Lele. I can begin to go live, and I want to have fun. I'm a fun person. I'm a praying person, but I am who I am. How you see me is how I'm going to be. I don't switch up. I love you all. And I love my lip gloss.
Okay. With that being said, I think we'll close out this live. I want to thank everyone for joining us and hanging out, and also I apologize for the delay earlier. And we appreciate you. Until the next time, we'll be back. Sasha News signing off. Thank you again, Lele. God bless you.
God bless you, love.